Let me just dive into it here. Retail stores often advertise sales with reduced pricing offers, and other stores will claim that their prices are always competitive, so why wait? Shop now. Why wait for a sale? And many faith organizations seem to advocate the sale philosophy, promoting holidays or unusual challenges as special occasions to practice one's faith. But I'm not that familiar with them saying we'll do it all the time. Well, of course they do. They encourage people to go to mass every day or to do their prayer routines on a daily basis, but they really push the holidays. In my experience, I grew up in a traditional Christian church, so those who don't know my background, that's where I'm coming from on that. And Sunday was special, and Christmas was special, and Easter was special, but the rest of the time, it was encouraged, but it wasn't really ingrained in my daily practice. Well, the science of mind teaches us that our unity with Spirit is constant and constantly powerful. There's no need to wait for a sale to take advantage of the power flowing through us all the time. Faith does more than rescue us from hard times. In Science of Mind, we know that Spirit works to improve whatever state of mind we are in. It lifts us when we are down, for sure, but it also makes the good better and the better great. In this thing called You, Ernest Holmes, our principal teacher in the Science of Mind, offers an affirmative prayer treatment as an example. He says, in part, there is no thought of want, of lack, or limitation in this mind, speaking of the one mind that he teaches us about. This mind is functioning in me now. Mind, of course, being the one mind, Spirit, or if you like, God. Some people refer to it that way. Some people in our teaching are a little shy about that term, but that's what it's generally known as. The God power, Spirit, higher power, whatever name you choose, whatever name you prefer. Holmes is reminding us in this sample prayer that any limitations that we impose on ourselves are self-imposed limits and not levied by our circumstances or by fate. We are reminded the power of Spirit is constant within us, waiting for us to impose our will upon it. Now we know, however, that Spirit is a restless suitor. It's so eager to impress us that it does not wait for us to sort through our own thoughts, to carefully construct the perfect, unimpeachable image of our desire before acting to move heaven and earth to bring our slightest impulse to our experience. Getting back to Spirit, who is so impulsive to please us that it just takes whatever we believe and creates that. We need to be careful about what we choose to create. Holmes writes again in this thing called You, the nature of the mind principle you are using is that wherever a mental image is set up in it, an objective form will be created. You see, learning the science of mind is simple. It's like 3 basic steps. Infinite power exists. Number 2, that infinite power being infinite, we are it, and it is us. And number 3, our experience is defined by our belief. Living the science of mind requires practice. It usually requires unlearning a lot of erroneous information and replacing it with understanding of how the universe really does work and why. Living the science of mind requires we remember at all times that the currents flowing between our thoughts and our experiences are always on. There is no ring ring on God's telephone, no mute and put on hold or hang up and accept new call selection, only an open line, as if every phone was on the same party line with no way to ever hang up. And being God, Spirit don't ask no questions. Because God knows everything and knows it knows everything, so would never entertain the idea that it requires additional information. It doesn't ask questions. So Spirit receives our belief and the wheels of creation start turning. If we were not clear in the expression of our belief, well, that's on us. The universe created what we expressed in our belief. Holmes writes again, even spirit must wait your conscious cooperation before the full light of its presence and the power of its law can be made manifest through you. Your conscious cooperation with spirit starts with a realization of the divine presence and your union with it. Although all knowledge is contained within spirit, remember, spirit is infinite. Spirit is as dumb as a post. It is an all-encompassing database with no interface program. And this is how our freedom of choice sets humans apart from the rest of things found here on Mother Earth. We can cite examples of animals that appear to make choices, but on close examination they are really just following their instincts. If we suddenly turn violent on our pets, they do not have the ability to discuss the event with their peers and surmise that we were just having a bad day and that everything will be okay tomorrow. No, they will stand off and eye us suspiciously for however long it takes for their instincts to allow them to trust us again. Our freedom of choice interfaces with the great spiritual database, causing a cornucopia of information to cascade through our internal filters, tripping switch after switch, building pathways of experience unique to each of us. Our choices reflect our beliefs, and our belief in our union with the divine presence is key to it all. We know from science that our universe favors circular patterns. Planets and stars are generally spherical in shape. Stars swirl around grand galaxies in predictable circular pathways. Planets orbit stars, moons orbit planets. We are all the product of cycles: birth, life, death. We recognize seasons and from our earliest times have marked their arrival and passing with celebrations. It is natural that stories have developed to explain the unknown. And just as natural that as we learn more, the stories hold less power. Now, retailers, as we said earlier, take advantage of every holiday to have a sale event. It is a cycle they can count on to boost their bottom line. Calling a particular date special provides a reason for the faithful to flock back to their worship centers and come away feeling that little emotional boost the experience generates. Holmes writes further in this thing called You, there is no joy which you cannot reach provided you first clear your consciousness of anything that would limit this joy in yourself or in others. Expect, accept, and you shall receive. That little emotional boost in our minds is our minds aligning with the one mind, aligning with spirit, regardless of what your traditional faith practice has been. When you practice that faith consciously, you come away with that little boost because however you got there, you are in alignment and it feels right, it feels good. Now, we know today that we can shop on the internet and find special prices on almost anything, almost any time. The retail world has been turned on its head by the choices we have been making. We have evolved, we have learned, we've found a different way of doing something that we've done one way for a really long time. We know too that aligning with the one mind is not reserved for special occasions. Spirit is always there, always ready to interface with our choices and manufacture whatever our beliefs dictate. And in spirit, there is no supply chain squeeze choking off our good. We are all prime customers. In the science of Mind Centers for Spiritual Living, there are people dedicated to shepherding the unexperienced through the process of spiritual alignment, but anyone can quickly master the tools of personal unification. We gather together in community to support one another and enjoy the company of awakening consciousnesses and continue learning new tools. But our most important tool is realizing that we are ourselves responsible for how our experience is revealed. We can and do seek guidance when we are troubled. But we also know that when our spiritual practice is a constant in our consciousness, we easily guide ourselves. We recognize through our spiritual practice that our old troubles become little more than interesting memories, and new challenges are less daunting. We understand how it works, and gratitude becomes our natural state of being. We become masters of unity. We see the interconnections that link us to each other and the one mind and spirit. We see that we do not need to wait for special occasion. We can have this spiritual boost any time we choose. So why wait for a sale? I know a guy that can get it for you wholesale. Give us a call. Thank you.